Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Tuesday, December 23rd, 2008. This morning I thought I'd go through a little debugging example, and instead of something contrived, I'll take a look at an actual application, bottom feeder, and a little diagnosis of a potential problem. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I've got this feed that I read by Chris Petrelli, and here's an item. If I pop up item properties, you see this is the link that I get, and it's a FeedBurner link. It goes into a proxy over to FeedBurner and then back eventually to Chris's blog. Let's say that I wanted the actual link to the item in terms of the permanent link on Chris's blog instead of this FeedBurner thing. Well, it looks like it's a possible bug in the sense the bottom feeder is picking up this link instead of the one I want. So let's go ahead and see how I would try to diagnose that. Here's kind of the code that runs when I figure out how to get items out of feeds. There's easier APIs to use in terms of using the library that I use, but this is kind of a long-winded way of making sure that I can diagnose each step. So here I get the document, here I figure out which class will actually handle the document, and here I get that target object into which I'm going to get all of the data. So I'll do it on all this to get the thing. And then what I need to do is I need to pop up a class browser because I'm going to need to go in and put in a breakpoint. Now, there are a couple different ways I could approach this. If I didn't know where to look and I just needed to walk through this, I might do a debug it right here and walk through each step until I got to something that looked likely. Now, it turns out that I don't need to do that. Since I wrote this code, I kind of know where I'm going. So I'm going to go to the constructors. I'm going to go to the Atom10 feed constructor. Now, here's a piece of munginess. It turns out that all this code is on the class side, and this goes back to when this code was originally written, 6-7 years ago now. And in reality, this should all be instance code. It should be a lot cleaner than this, but this is the way it kind of is. Now, it turns out that this is the method where I knew there are potential issues in getting the right link from an Atom feed, because Atom feeds, you can have multiple links. You can have one for comment replies, you can have one for the actual HTML link that you want people to visit, you can have some for the Atom link. There are a bunch of things that are possible, and you want to pull out the appropriate one. And you see what I'm doing is I'm looking for the one that is both rel and alternate as attribute types, because that's the one that is supposedly the correct one as far as the feed itself is concerned. So I'm going to put a breakpoint right here. And then I'm going to run this code until it drops into that method. Now, here I'll bring this all the way up into the view so you can see it, shrink it down a little bit. And here it's going to go through those link refs. Now I can start stepping through here, but you see this is a piece of detect code. It's going through a collection. Now let's take a look at what the collection consists of. And the collection consists of 2 items. Now it turns out that this is actually the feed itself, not the items. So this is not really what I want. I'm going to close this, I'm going to hit this, and go down to the items. So I'll wait until it pops up again. Having gotten to the items, let's take a look at link refs. And sure enough, there are now 3 of these guys. Looks like there's the FeedBurner one I'm picking up. Here's another one, and here I can see the problem. This looks like more like the URL that I want, except that it's comments, and it says replies and text HTML. And this one, again, looks kind of like what I want, except it's replies and Atom. So this is the XML link. So that's why I'm picking this one up, because even though this is not theoretically what I want, it's the one the feed lists as the one I want. So in fact, there's no bug here. And the only way I was able to figure this out really was by putting this breakpoint in and dropping into this code and seeing what came in and then looking at this to see what pops. Now, if I want to make sure the code's doing what I expect it to do, I can do this. Put the cursor there. Say, let's just run to the cursor. So that doesn't mean skip to cursor. It means run all the code up to that point, and let's see what the match is. And the match, which I'll pop up a full inspector, you can see it's this one here that's listed as alternate and text HTML. So even though it's not what I thought I wanted, it's what the feed is telling me I want, and that's why I'm picking this item up. So I could wish that FeedBurner advertised the URL I want, but given the FeedBurner is a business and they want people to run through their servers, that's why I'm getting this. So that's kind of an example of how I run through debugging an everyday, day-to-day experience with Smalltalk, where I put breakpoints in, I examine the objects in the inspectors, I step or send through code, and look at what's going on. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.